Hello, welcome back to the Little Welsh Cottage here at the head of the Rhondda Valleys, and I start the afternoon off with a nice cup of tea. After 25 years living in London, I've returned to my birthplace amongst the mountains of the South Wales Valleys. Join me as I journey my new life with plans of growing my own food and ultimately creating my own homestead. Videos are posted every week, so if you like this one, give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Now, if you're from the area, you will know Pensacana Wildlife Park. If you were a kid in the 80s, 70s, you probably went there. That's my new mug. Right, let's have a cup of tea. It's been a strange old few days. Since getting back from North Wales last week, I've hardly done anything. Need to buy some milk. I have been trying to get over the journey. As you know, if you watched for a while, I've got chronic fatigue syndrome called ME. So I've been trying to recover from the little trip, from the 2-day trip. But it's been quite hard because all I've done since I've been back is to run around after Ollie. Likes to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and doesn't go to bed until about 1 o'clock. He's having a little 10-minute nap now of the afternoon. So I thought I'd spend the time doing the dishes because I've left them get a bit on top of me the last few days. Yesterday I went down to the Homestead and I took the microphone down there, but unfortunately I'd been so busy I'd forgotten to charge the microphone up, so I couldn't do any filming at all. But I did manage to get on and do a bit of weeding, and I started to clear away or to tidy up the area of all the stuff that came down from London in November of last year. So what I'll do is I'll put the full length versions of those videos onto my other channel. I'll put the link in the description below because I know some people, they like to watch a bit of weeding going on. But it was nice to spend time down there and to have the new fridge. And I think that's why I might have enjoyed it a bit better than usual, was because the fridge was there, so there was always a cup of tea on hand. In fact, that's why there's probably no milk here. I need to remember, right, I've seen the milk, but which fridge was it in? So besides that little bit of weeding, I haven't done much.
I'm pulling weeds with a mighty hand. This patch of earth, it's my promised land. They call it an allotment, but they misunderstand. I've got a long-term plan. It's all been planned. The soil is rough, but my dreams are smooth. Each seed I plant, my heart it soothes. No fleeting project, no passing phase. This homestead grows in deliberate ways. Oh, the garden sings, the future calls, through sprouting seeds and trellis walls. Not just a plot, it's destiny's span. They call it an allotment, but I've got a plan. The sun bears witness to my toil as roots take hold in this sacred soil. It's more than a hobby. allotment. It's the work of my hand. Oh, the garden sings, the future calls, through sprouting seeds and trellis walls. Not just a plot, it's destiny's span. They call it an allotment, but I've got a plan.
Oh, I did do something today which I've never done before, so it was a new experience. So last week, I bought some things from Amazon, a radio, and the radio was going to be kept in the kitchen, and then my radio that's in the kitchen was going to go down to the Homestead. But then when I was, I've got itchy mouth. When I was driving through the Brecon Beacons last week, I saw a few signs for woodlands that are up for sale. Now I belong to the website, so I recognised the signs, and you can get an acre for about £12,000, and in some places you can get a few acres for only 20,000. And because they're a lot closer to my house than I thought, I started thinking, maybe it's time I need to start saving up. So today, everything that I bought in the last week, I said to myself, do I really want this? So I'm sending the radio back. I bought a, a cat tower for Ollie. But the cat tower turned up this morning, so he'd had a few days on the cat tower that I already had. But I thought I would get a new one for him, so that he could put his smells all over it. But he seems to be doing perfectly fine with the one that I've already got. So the cat tower is going to go back as well. So I thought, in my Monzo account, I have started a little savings fund called the land. So we'll see how much we can save over the next year or two, and then we'll see what is available. Now Ollie has met Amber and Topsy, and they've got about that close to each other. There was a bit of hissing, but it soon calmed down. And I read in a book they said to do it every few days. Well, the thing is, every time I open the door to go upstairs, Ollie's up there. So they seem perfectly fine. Obviously they're not big friends at the moment. And then once they've spent 10 minutes with each other, I'm then bringing Ollie back down and then going up and spending some time with Amber and Topsy. I've just been upstairs now, and one of them is sleeping in the window and the other one is sleeping on the roof. The roof that overlooks the garden now. Mystery called by this morning, but I think somebody else is feeding her because she looks rather big, although Amber and Topsy look massive compared to Ollie. So maybe Mystery hasn't got bigger and it's just I'm seeing something that I didn't see in the past. But now she's just calling in about once a day. I heard Amber having a chat to her at about 4 o'clock this morning. She was outside by the window. But they say it's going to be a very warm week. So I'm going to try and get down the Homestead. That's the plan. Not in the heat of the day, of course. I was thinking about getting a cage because I bought a harness for Ollie, and the plan was when I took him down there, he was going to sit inside the summer house with the harness on, but the harness is a bit too big. So I've seen somebody who had a sort of cage, but it was about 12 foot by 4. So I thought I could get one of them, so Ollie could sit in there while I get on and do whatever I get on and do. So yes, this returning stuff to the Amazon is the first time that I've done it in a long time, and the system seems to have changed now. You can take it to a post office, and somebody told me as soon as you take it to the post office and they check it in, you get your money back within minutes. So it's a bit too late to do it today, because my local post office closes at 2:30, and it's 2:25 now. So I'm not going to make that today. Oh, my seeds have turned up. I've ordered some seeds for winter crops, so I will be sowing them at some point this week. And I'm pleased to report that my runner beans, I've found a flower, and I thought they were terribly slow. But there's a man further down the road, and he's got beans in his garden. And I remember going to ask him, when are you putting your beans in? And he said, I happen to be putting them in tomorrow. His son grew the plants for him. And I looked at his plants, and compared to my plants, mine are a bit more advanced, even though he planted his 4 weeks before me. So the first year of having a garden, it's all about exploring, and obviously things in London would go fast because of the heat. And in fact, my friend told me last night was the first night they have had rain since May, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get out of the place, because we would have a heat wave from April all the way up to August. And then August it would just rain for the entire month. So being back down here, it's all about getting to know the climate. I remember somebody saying to me though, what was the difference between here and London when I went to London? And I said I was amazed how in London you could get 3 crops of peas in a year, in a season, whereas down here you can just have the one. So now it's all about learning. Somebody stopped their car the other day and said, love the videos, and he told me the street that he lived in, and I said, you wouldn't happen to live at number, and he looked at me as if I was psychic, and I said, just because that's where my family used to live. So I called in. He said, call in and I'll show you what's happened to the house. So I went in, and obviously the house is completely different from what it is. There were 1 or 2 things still there. And we went into the garden, and it's strange, but the house seemed smaller, even though he had taken 2 walls down. The room just seemed smaller than what it was before. Whereas when we went into the garden seemed bigger and wider, because when my cousin had it, the garden would just go straight up, and it was on a big slope, But he's now put terraces in, and it's made the whole thing twice the size. And I recognised the plants. There were quite a few plants still there, oh, let me think. She would have left that house about 20 years ago, but some of the plants were still there, and her shed was still there. And we went into the shed, and I was telling him stories about how I had installed the electric and the plug was still there. And he said, everything on this side of the shed I haven't touched, because he's changing the shed to a garage. And he said, everything on this side I just haven't touched. So whatever's there is stuff that she left there. So I looked, and I recognised the watering can. And he said, have it. So I have a watering can that my cousin used to use, and I used to use, about 20 years ago. Now, I may take it down to the homestead, but it's a plastic one, so it's a bit on the brittle side. So I might just keep it here and put a plant in it or something like that. One thing that he still had, and I would love to have had it, but he said he's going to restore it and put it in his garden, is the bench. Although thinking about it now, they had two benches. They had a wooden bench which they took to the new house when they moved. That's right, and they left the small bench there. But these benches were wrought iron on each side with slats. And I remember when they first came out back in about 91, 92. And they were they were quite cheap, about £20 they were in Woolworths. And everybody went and bought them. Whatever garden you went into in the early 90s, everybody had these benches. And I managed to find one of these benches, but I didn't bring it down with me. I left it on the London allotment, which I may go and visit in a few weeks' time, in fact. Oh, right. What's the weather like? Sunshine and a few clouds. I still need to get that cleaned. I wonder when the window cleaner's coming. He said he would give me a call the day before. He said he only does certain parts of the valley on certain days. Right, I've cooked a chicken because it was best before yesterday and it smelled fresh. So I thought I'll throw it in. So that's what I'm going to have for my tea tonight, is a Sunday lunch, because since Ollie came, my food has is all over the place. I'm not having my set meals. So today was all about trying to get back to some form of normality. It's like having a new child. So once I've had my food, I might pop down to the homestead and do a bit down there. I'm also going to go and visit a garden. I saw it on Gardener's World a few weeks ago on BBC Two. And I didn't realise this garden was only an hour and a half away from my house. It's in England. Hereford, I think it is. So I thought, I'll go there. And maybe that'll give me a bit of inspiration. Because to be honest, I think my inspiration for the homestead has gone in the last few weeks. But then the thing is, it isn't a race. It's not like it's going to open to the public, is it? It'll get done when it gets done. And it's all about enjoying the space. And if you're there constantly thinking, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, then that is one way to get fed up with it. So the plan I've got for this week is to move all the items from that corner that I showed you, bag them all up, and then move the 1 ton bag down to this holding space that I have just behind the potting shed, and then I can sort it out quietly over the next few months, while at the same time collecting all my pots, because I have thousands of pots. And just to think, when I left the rusty allotment, when was it, 6-7 years ago, I had a load of pots then, and I put them onto the share table. We had this table by the gate, which if you didn't want stuff, you put them on there. And I put them all there. Now, unfortunately, one person came and took the entire lot, where I thought, you know, if you were a bit more kind-hearted, you would have just gone, I'll just take 20 and I'll leave the rest for somebody else. But no. Within a day, all the stuff had gone. But at least it's gone to a good home. Well, at least it's gone to a home rather than going into the bin, isn't it? I went down a few weeks after I left, and I walked past this person's plot, and it was as if they'd taken up my entire allotment and just put it onto his plot. Right, that's another pot done. Just doesn't seem to stop in this house. Oh, better do the outside. I forgot about that. I'll put my veg in this. I'll just do 1 pot rather than 3 or 4. Cleaning and shopping, that's all that seems to happen in this house. Now we've come to the start of a new month. I had a brief little 10-minute look last night at my accounts, and I just sort of think, where does the money go? It seems to go out faster than what it comes in. And now with this situation, you keep hearing it on the radio that taxes are going up in the autumn budget, the autumn statement. So you sort of start thinking, right, maybe I need to start saving a bit harder now. Although I saw something the other day, I can't remember which newspaper I saw it in now, but they were saying get a few tins in the house and prepare a survival kit. Because I think is it in Sweden? They gave out some information about 2 years ago telling people put together a survival kit to survive for 14 days. I've often thought over the last few weeks, I wonder if this is how they felt back in the 1930s. That there were wars going off over the world, but they were far enough away that you didn't have to be concerned about them. And then all of a sudden, it's on your doorstep. I thought, I wonder if this is what it was like in the run-up to 1939. People were thinking it's far away, and then the next thing, it's on your doorstep. Not sure. Maybe we should all start to be growing a bit of veg. Right. Well, on that sobering thought, like they used to say, keep calm, carry on. It hasn't happened yet. Well, I'm going to have a Sunday lunch and a cup of tea. A cup of tea will get me through it. Right, where is my tea? Ah, there it is. Right, I'm going to have a cup of tea and then make some food and then pop down the homestead and do a bit more work. So I'll catch up with you in a few days. So from me until then, bye for now.